tutorial for practicing for your DVC portfolio is a layer blend. And our goal today is to use an original photo. That would be what my layer 0 is. My layer 1 and the one called texture are both what's called a texture layer, and that came from Photoshop, or not from Photoshop, that came from the internet. And then as I put these layers on top of my original photo, I'm going to be playing with blend modes. I'm also playing with opacity. All right, so simple stuff. I'm going to turn off the two texture layers. I start by going into my Lightroom catalog and finding a picture that I really care about, and I think that I can add mood or message to it by adding some Photoshop special effects. So by going beyond what I did with the camera, okay? I don't want to overdo it with Photoshop. I still want the main reason for this artwork to be the picture that I took, but I'm just going to be adding a little bit extra punch by doing some Photoshop stuff. So the starting position, as I said, would be to go to Google, and what you search is, you can just put PS texture layers, and you are going to find, I go to images, and you'll see gajillions of all kinds of pictures that are either different patterns, designs, or detail shots of things from all around everywhere. Okay, things that wouldn't necessarily be a good photo all on their own. Like here's one of the ones I used, and I simply, let's see, did I right click on that? And I copied the image, and let's see, save image as, save it as texture, and it goes right on my desktop. So that was one of the ones I used. It looks like a brushed metal. The other one that I used in my final product was one that you'll see in just a second. It looks kind of like some rusted metal with some paint on top of it. So I really like the textures and the colors. So you can pick whatever you want. And I would pick at least 3. You're not necessarily going to use all 3, but you want to pick several so that you have options to choose from, so that you can experiment and say, oh, like let's pull this one. Do I like this one? Save image as, and it's going to save it as images on the desktop. Good stuff. So, all right. If you can see my desktop right now, you'll see that I have one JPEG ready to go, another one ready to go, and from earlier, here's my third one. Okay? So I have them all in a file. So we do our regular thing. File open. And go look at the desktop. And grab them. So there's texture. And images. And there's the rust one. So they all open as their own layers. So super duper simple, right? All we need to do is go Command A to select all, Command C to copy it, come over to my original picture, and paste it. So this needs to be rotated. So to rotate, it's Command T. And I can rotate this any direction that I want. I kind of like the darkness being added up into the sky, so I do that. And then I just scale out the corners by going in a straight diagonal line. Boom, boom, boom. I'm going to stretch it a little bit because the way it copied from the internet, I have these white borders along the edge that I don't want in my final image. So I'm just going to stretch it, hit return. Okay? And the next step is to make it so I can see through this. So how do we do that? Start off by experimenting first with blend modes. We have used screen already. You can use any blend mode you want. And you're just looking to see what looks good. I'm liking the way that the corners go around, sort of frame the top of the Joshua tree. So that looks good to me. And I just keep scrolling. Overlay is not bad either. Let me try overlay. And then I go to my opacity and I just kind of mellow it out a little bit, because remember, the star of the show is the tree, the mountain, and the actual landscape. This stuff I'm adding is just to add that extra flavor of rustic, old west, kind of beat down, broken down a little bit. So I'm trying a light layer. Let me see what it looks like. What I did here in my finished version, the way I liked it the best was actually on multiply at 65%. And then I do the same thing again. Let's take a look at this kid. Let's look at the wood. Let's see if adding kind of old wood paneling like the side of a barn is going to make it go. Command T, rotate, and stretch. So it scales. And it looks lousy because I'm in edit mode. I hit return, snaps around a little bit, and let's do the same thing again. Scroll through my blend modes. See if I like any of it. Color dodge might not be bad. Let's see what color dodge looks like, but then with the opacity way down. Yeah, no. It's too, the wood pattern is too much of an interference with the tree. I don't like that. Yeah, I think the lines that are coming through on the wood paneling are not what I'm looking for. So I'm actually going to turn layer 3 off. I'm going to throw it out. And my last layer is this kid. Same thing, Command A, Command C, paste it. Sometimes it does this. It says the colors that it's pulling from the internet file don't match up with your photograph. That's fine in a case like this. And again, Command T. And transform it. Let me just rotate a little more. And let's see, what did I do? I know I turned the opacity way down on this one. And I believe I went, I have to look it up. Maybe I think I did overlay and I did the opacity way down. So what you'll see is I add a little bit what looks like almost like watercolored clouds in the sky, and then this texture provides kind of like a darker vignette around the edge. So that's the job. You are staying with an original, fully edited photo that is yours, coming from Lightroom Classic. Send it to Photoshop to be layer blended. Use at least 2 layers. Experiment with blend modes. Experiment with opacity. That's your job. Go get them.